So we're going to another farmer's market today. This time we're going to check out the one down in Norman.
The last one was really good.
And you know what that means? It's time for more home cooking. Let's go.
Behind you. Don't die! Honey, I'll think about it. Do you know any whoop-eye?
Who would absolutely adore that? Yes.
Has to eat it outside, no rabbit fur in the house. They have duck eggs.
All right, so you're saying that you're veteran owned and operated?
Yes, so we are veteran owned and operated, so we're designed to be able to help veterans battle with PTSD and suicide. And so being veteran operated, only veterans sell this coffee.
Okay.
So it gives them that camaraderie with other veterans. Also gives them extra income as well, and helps to try to bring down the 22-a-day suicide rate that we have among our nation. And so that's what we're about. We have that socialization and that camaraderie, which is what a lot of veterans miss from being in the military. And then a lot of times with the veteran suicide, it's due to financial strain and stress and not there. And so they take and wind up having that stress and everything though. So, so we're just trying to take and bring down the 22-a-day suicide rate that we have among our nation, and to be able to take and create that camaraderie.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That is awesome, and it's good coffee on top of that. Good cause, good coffee.
Thank you.
You guys are getting a good thing going.
Appreciate it.
So you said it's veteran owned and operated.
We have whole bean and ground.
Okay.
And so you can choose which one you want as far as whole bean or ground.
Okay.
And then we even have espresso in ground as well. So if you want to have a full espresso cup of coffee, you can do that rather than have an espresso machine and making espresso shots.
I've met a few gentlemen who would absolutely take that option.
Okay.
I think the primary one I'm thinking of right now is an ex-Marine.
Okay.
So, yeah, it makes sense that you got
Possibility,
that. Well, thank you, and thanks for talking. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You say you're local. Do you make all your jellies and jams?
I make all this, grow everything I sell, all natural, no dyes, additives, preservatives, no artificial flavors or anything that's unnatural. I don't use any chemicals or additives, pesticides, no fertilizers or anything for anything that I grow either. I kind of enjoy all of it in its own unique way, I guess. Growing's fun, but you know, it takes patience and you have to kind of wait. It takes a while to get that gratification. So something like this, you get that more instant gratification, and something like this is funner to sit back and then look back on the whole process. So everybody should grow something. Everybody should grow something. I I mean, that no matter if it's just herbs or whatever, herbs is a good place to start for a beginner. But yeah, I make like a lot of garden art and stuff. I don't have any of that with me today, but so I kind of started selling the jelly just to get into a different farmer's market.
Okay.
And I realized that jelly sells a little bit easier than artwork. And so
It's a lot cheaper per piece, probably.
right, yeah. So sometimes when I can, I bring artwork and sell that. But kind of short on it right now. Have to make some more. I weld like garden sculptures and bottle trees.
Okay.
Put like bottles on them and stuff like that.
Cool.
So it's kind of like a freak accident that got me started doing all this. Other than I've always kind of grown and had like my own garden.
Gotcha.
I make dolls' dresses,
Okay.
and they're for American Girl doll,
Okay, so that 18-inch size.
18-inch size, yes.
What got you into making doll dresses?
My daughter-in-law, or my granddaughter, their parents bought them each, and they were like $25 in Dallas.
Yes.
And I just make it for 10.
Okay.
I lined everything.
Okay.
Really well.
I love seeing all the different things. I notice you have, are those dog jackets?
Yes, I just made them to try it out, you know.
So does your dog like them?
My dog likes it, yeah.
Hello. I just noticed the puppy.
And then I do this one too.
What is that?
It's a rice, but you put it in the microwave to heat it up.
Okay.
Ah.
And the reason I did it this way is that when you normally make it, it all goes to one side.
Right, yeah,
So
I've seen
I came up
those.
with an idea to put them in little pockets like that there.
I like that.
And then you just roll it up. You know, and you can put it in the freezer to keep it cold. You want it cold.
Yeah, it'd almost make a good, you could almost use it as a weighted blanket and
Oh,
a
yeah.
hot and a cold.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Take a bowl in there and put it straight in the microwave. And you bring it out and it's not hot.
Okay, basically it has its own hot pad.
Yes.
Oh, that's fascinating.
And I've got all different.
Yeah, that's nice and thick
Yeah,
too.
I made it thick so you have
Yeah.
a chance of keeping it warm. And not burning
I've
your
almost
hands.
burned myself on a bowl once or twice.
I have successfully burned myself on a bowl multiple times.
I sell a lot of them. I've
I
been
could
selling
see
them
that.
when they first came out.
Well, thank you very much for your time. We really
you're
appreciate
welcome.
that.
Wildcrafting.
Yes.
That is a choice to start as a full business idea.
Well, I've been doing it for a while, and there's so much competition up here with the vegetables and everything, you know what I mean? And so I bring half the vegetables and stuff up here and end up taking it home. 'Cause,
Okay.
I mean, everyone's doing that. And so I found my niche, like in, foraging and wildcrafting. And so it's all seasonal though, so that's why it costs a little bit more for some of this stuff, because I have to go out there and look for it. I have to know when to look for it, where to look for it, how to identify it, make sure it's safe, make sure it's no poisonous lookalikes, bring it back here, sell it, test it myself and everything. And it's just one of those things that's hit or miss.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun though. I like to get out there. I feel more alive when I'm doing that than I'm gardening and just struggling with all the weeds and everything, And,
That makes sense. That way
you know what I mean?
you get the adventure of going and finding instead of the daily,
Yeah.
okay, now you're not supposed to be there, you weed.
Right, exactly.
Weed.
Exactly. This is all just looking for microclimates and different things out there in the forest, and you never know what you're going to run into. Seeing all kinds of snakes, frogs, lizards, spiders, deal with all that. And you start to learn about that too, you know what I mean? So you go, okay, look, this kind of tree over here, I'm going to try to find some certain kind of mushroom growing on that tree or under it. Go about 10, 15 feet in different directions. Climate changes, microclimates.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to find anything over here where this pine tree's at. Over here underneath these oaks, maybe there's some chanterelles. So it's all about like looking and assessing the forest. It's the way things used to be, the way things are supposed to be. You know what I mean? That's the way our ancestors did it. You know what I mean? It's the way we used to do it. It's the way we lost it. And so I'm back out here trying to learn all these lost skills, and it's paying off.
Do you teach classes on it?
I do not. I should. But the thing is, like, if I were to take you out to my mushroom spots, then it'd be flooded. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
a secret, I mean, I can teach classes on how to identify them and stuff like that, which I probably will in the future. Just haven't got to that point yet.
Okay.
But I can't take you to my spots unless
No,
naturally.
Throw you in the trunk of my car, blindfold you. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of stuff out here that people don't even realize grow. I mean, custom mushrooms or wild fruits or, medicinal plants, edible plants. 80% of the plants you see growing around here are either medicinal or edible. The poisonous ones, same with the mushrooms, are few and far between. So, like, what you got to do with, like, the mushrooms is stick to the ones that have no poisonous lookalikes. You still have to know the poisonous ones, too, and the plants, too. But there's a lot fewer poisonous ones than what people think. You know what I mean?
Because everybody's told, watch out, they're poisonous, they're poisonous, they're poisonous.
Yeah, that's what you're taught, like, from day one when you're a kid, Because that makes sense, because, like, kids are going to put stuff in their mouth. You know what I mean? But as an adult, you learn, like, no, it's not really true.
Do you find that there are a lot of plants that are listed as poisonous, like juniper, that make fine seasonings, but if you ate a bowl of it, you get the runs?
Yeah,
versus something more like a foxglove that is lethal if ingested.
Yeah, there's a lot of differences and discrepancies, you know what I mean? Because, like, juniper, you can use the berries and stuff to cook with. You can even make a wine or something out of them if you wanted to. You know what I mean? You don't want to eat it, like, in big doses because it's just too powerful. But I'd say, like, you're out there, like, looking for, like, yarrow, and you come across Queen Anne's lace, which is a little bit different. They say the queen has hairy legs, which means the stem has hairs on it.
Okay.
And then that's how you tell the difference between those two. And the yarrow is a little bit different shape, depending on the leaves. And then there's the hemlock, which looks like it too, but the hemlock has purple splotches all over it. It gets way taller, and usually doesn't grow in the same areas as the Queen Anne's lace or yarrow.
Okay.
But you have to be cognitive and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
be aware. But a lot of it's regional. What may be like poisonous here may not be poisonous on their part of the country, or have something similar it looks like over here that you think is edible where you came from, but it's not edible here. You know what I mean? And that's how a lot of poisonings happen, as people come from different parts of the area, the country or world, and come over to a different spot they're not really familiar with, and they start foraging, and that's when they get in trouble. You know what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So there's a certain local knowledge component to foraging where you have to be familiar with your actual area.
Yeah, exactly. And that can change, within 100 miles,
Okay.
So it's just, like I said, microclimates. Oklahoma has so many different climates and regions here. We got like 5 different ecosystems, I think. We got like, like the swamps in the southeast, the cross timbers here. Down in southwest Oklahoma, it's more mountainous, kind of dry, arid. Northwest is like more deserty. And so being in central Oklahoma, you can be anywhere like within 3 or 4 hours, and the whole climate changes. You know what I mean? So if I were to go, say, to Lawton, half the stuff doesn't grow down there. But you can find different things that grow that you can't find up here. And the same with like the Tulsa area. It's just all regional and seasonal too. So certain things grow at certain times of year, and things don't. So if you find like a mushroom that looks like a chanterelle, it's out of season.
Be suspicious?
Yeah, be suspicious. It might be like a jack-o'-lantern or something. Which will make you mildly sick. It's not going to kill you.
But nobody wants to be mildly sick anyway.
No, you don't. No, especially if you're out in the woods, or or get home, you want to be sick.
Fair.
Not a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You have sand plums here. I know those are local. What do you do with sand plums?
It's a really popular Oklahoma delicacy. Really, people make jelly out of it, jams, sand plum jelly. It's really popular around here.
Okay.
It's like a seasonal thing, so because they don't last very long, you can see the shelf life. They're all different kinds of ripeness. You see these ones came out of the same batch, but they're kind of falling apart.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so these ones, if you take all these and mix them together, you can make a jelly and it won't matter.
Okay.
Whereas like see some of these are going to be tart and some are ripe. So they're a real small tree, like a bush. And so you can't get them all at peak ripeness. And that's why people make a lot of jellies and jams out of them.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean? And then you can use these ones too. They look like they're rotten, but they're not. They're kind of fermenting a little bit. You can see the sugars and stuff on there starting to come out. You can squeeze that, and you can make you actually make a wine or something out of it if you want
I've
to.
had sand plum wine. It is fantastic.
Yeah, just like the morels in the springtime or the chanterelles now, it's one of those things you have to get it while you can. It's not going to be there maybe next year. It won't be there in a few months. It may not be there in a week.
Okay.
It might be a year or two before you can get it again.
I didn't realize they were that affected by the weather. We had some on a property I lived on, but we lost, like, we had some, and several years later, the trees weren't even there.
Yeah.
And
they're affected, you know what I mean? And like, you know, sometimes like, you know, I have 2 different patches on my property. One patch produced one year, the other one didn't.
interesting.
So it's just like one of those things, you know, I just never know, and I can't explain that, you know what I mean? But it's interesting, it's fun. And then I do a lot of foraging for, like, you know, this is like sand sage, I think he called it. This came from northwest Oklahoma. My friend brought it down. This doesn't grow around here, but it grows about 100 miles northwest. I like just down the line. That's where I grew up and where I'm from. It's so arid down there. Like I don't even hardly see like hardly any sage down there, except from the Wichita Mountains here and there, the patches. But up here, it's like crazy growing. I have never seen the sand plums down there, even though I'm sure they're down there. But the mushrooms and stuff, they just don't grow down there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
These are walking onions right here. What it is, there's a bulb in the ground, like kind of like a shallot, like small onion bulb.
Okay.
And it grows a shoot with a patch of onions on top, and then it'll get another patch and another patch. It gets so heavy it falls over, and it seeds itself. That's why it's called a walking onion.
That makes sense.
They will escape your if you put them in a raised bed or a pot, they'll escape, start going everywhere. I had mine like in a big raised bed, and I just took the raised bed off because they hadn't escaped. I got a giant patch. But if you break each one of these up like this, stick it in the ground, each one's an individual onion, plant it again.
How big does the onion usually get?
About like half the size of a normal onion. You know? But as long as you don't dig up the bulb, they keep growing, and you can use the greens like a green onion year round.
Trim the
and they're
greens.
hollow, so you can stuff them or whatever too. These ones are kind of old because I picked them last week. It's the whole patch right here. Each one of those is an onion, so you just stick in the ground, have your own patch, and they stay green year round, like during the summer and the winter. So you can always go out there and get something.
Well, I'll take some of those and.
Cool. It's one of those things you just plant it once and you never have to do it again as long as you don't dig up the bulb.
I love that idea. I like trying to plant stuff that naturalizes here.
Yeah, because it's such a unique plant. You can use it as like a decorative plant because it looks like an alien out there growing around.
Yeah.
And it's brightly colored.
Yeah, they're weird.